Hello, this is Frank, and thanks for tuning in to today's quick tutorial on how to do a animation with a lot of zombies and then have a transparent background, but have them all as one layer, so you don't have to work on bringing every single one of these skeletons into the animation program. It'll save a lot of time and rendering time especially. So the trick I used from the original City of Rott was to just flatten them all into one layer. And the way I do that is at first I just animate it. So I have all these animations I created ahead of time, and I'm just going to put these in here real quick. And the way I do that is to grab the actions list from that list up there, and then I just go right to the frame 0, actually frame 1. What happened to it? It was right there. Alright, and then you just click on that button, and you can see she's in an animation pose right there, but I have to make it go to frame 30. So I'm just going to pull these over here, and this way it ends on 30. This way when it loops back to 1, because I'm going to have this loop over. And to demonstrate what that means is when you click on, well, let's say I brought in this animation. Let's see, it should be under, it's probably not under here. No, it's not under there. Under an animation movie file, it would be different. There would be a infinite loop, and you just loop it, and it keeps going through the same walk cycle, so that'll save a lot of time. But here's the second frame, actually the second character, and I don't want nothing too drastic with these basic walk cycles when they're in the group like this, only because I don't want them to stand out too much when I might reuse these for certain things, certain crowd scenes. So I don't want them to have something so distinct that it's like, oh, there's that certain walk again, you know. But I mean, it's gonna repeat at some point. And then I will pull this into the 30 frames. I've reduced the frame rate to 15 frames per second. In City of Rott Otherworld, it was at 24 frames per second. So it was a lot smoother look, but this is going to be a little rougher looking. More like more basic. That was one of the requests from City of Rott Otherworld. A lot of fans said they really did prefer the more basic look of City of Rott 1. And so that's what I'm trying to get a little bit closer to, but at the same time, I just want to say that City of Rott 1, the only reason I had only a 3-frame walk cycle for so many of those zombies was because the image ready program didn't have any rotation or scaling. So you see how I could rotate these instantly? Well, in image ready, all of these would be preset animated frames of the character, and then I'd go through each one and make it visible through each frame of animation, because you couldn't actually do it in this program, in the image ready program. So it was really challenging. So I reduced it down to 3 frames for the crowd scenes, and then I just slowed it down so it was like every 3rd or 4th frame that I would change it to the next animation walk cycle. So that was really basic animation there. Alright, so this lady is going here, but she's reaching out of the box, so I gotta fix this. I'm gonna go with a more basic walk here for her. That might be a problem. She might actually reach out. Let's see. No, that worked out. All right. So I just got to shrink it down into that little section there. And hold that there. I just want to say thanks to all the City Rott fans. I really appreciate all your interest in City Rott over the years, and the new City Rott Origin film that I'm working on. I will reveal that it'll be a full movie. It's not going to be a short film like I was originally planning. And the reason for that is I've really worked on the story, and I said this is a better story to tell in a full movie rather than a short film. So that's what I'm going to do, and it's mainly focused on Fred, but there are a lot of other characters that show up and add to the story and contribute to the story, and of course help reveal the origin of how it all got started with the rot worms and what went wrong, and then Fred's situation where he's only 26 years old in the City of Rott origin, because if he looks on his license, you could see it says age 26 back in the original City of Rott 1. So with the origin, we see him start at that age, 26, but then what happens in City of Rott 1, if you haven't seen it, well, I won't try to spoil it, but something happens where he ages really rapidly. So you're going to see that start to happen in the origin film. So he's not really an old man, but he's aged so fast that in less than a month, he goes from age 26 to more like, I'd say, 76 or 80. So he's really suffered from the situation that he's in, and it shows how he's going to deal with it. And then from there, all that happens in the City of Rott with the sanitation troopers. They clean up the city. And then, of course, John, he'll show up. He's the guy from the original City of Rott. He's the more stocky character. And he helped Fred. He drove the car in the original City of Rott. Let's see. And then they were talking in the deli. And he's talking about how, now he's got more freedom and there's no government to hold him down. So he kind of likes the freedom that the whole situation brought about. All right, so this lady's moving forward, crowding into the others. So I don't want that to jump forward like that. Let's see what that is. That's still pushing forward. And then that's better, but now I gotta compress it. See, I'm going for 30 frames, which is only 2 seconds. But the reason for that is that's the cycle of the walk. For all the other, I have like about 13 walk cycles of all different zombies and all different packs, and then I'm combine all those together, and you get these huge crowd scenes. And if you were to take each individual zombie and put them in, like let's say you have 1,000 zombies and they're all have these skeletons like I have here, the whole program would crash. It wouldn't be able to handle it. So that's why I'm doing this now. So when I get the big crowd scenes of the zombies, for one guy to animate it all, you just prep it ahead of time. And that's how you get the huge crowd scenes like in the original City of Rott. This will be more than 3 frames of the walk cycle, because you can see here we got 30 frames in 2 seconds, which is 15 frames per second. So this is what I originally wanted in the original City of Rott, but it was so limited with the image ready that I had to settle for very choppy animation for a lot of the movements. But it does have a charm to it, so I can definitely see why a lot of fans enjoy it, and I appreciate that. Thank you. All right, so this is completed, and I'm just going to go. If I press play, it won't play back in real time because there's too many characters right now. This is my old Mac computer that I have offline, and this is looking pretty good here. So if I go here and then go to 1, everybody looks like they're moving. Nobody's and just to be sure, I go through every frame now. Not every frame, every character. So I'm gonna go 1, 2, just making sure I got every one, because sometimes I'll render it out, and if you screw it up, you got to go re-render the whole thing again. So I'm just checking frame 30, make sure everybody's to the 30th frame, because if they're up here to the 45th frame, they're just going to stop all of a sudden, and it's not going to cycle. I did that before, and I said, I got to go back and re-render that and delete the old render. But that's part of the challenge and fun of animation. Now, this is the key part here. To get this background to be completely clear with nothing there, apply shape effects. You could keep that on, but I don't ever use that for anything. Extra smooth images, that's unnecessary since I'm using bitmap images. As long as you got anti-alias edges, that'll make it a lot smoother for the bitmap. Alright, so here's the key. Do not pre-multiply alpha channel. Now the alpha channel is the clear background. In other words, you could take this image of the animation in a move file and just drag and drop it into your scene and then do an endless loop, and you got these zombies all walking in a looped cycle for crowd scenes. So enable multi-thread rendering. I have to have that selected. That's the key. So those two and those two are important for a good animation. Then we got 30 frames. So now I'm just going to go, let's see, they're walking. So I'm just going to go to my walk group. And this is the 13th group. Actually the 14th, because I also have a military group. So I'm just going to press save. And it's going to say, let's see. All right, well, every 15th frame, because I only got 15 frames, I don't think that really makes too much of a difference. But out of all these, normally I use photo JPEG, but for this, because I want a clear, transparent background, I'm going to use animation, and then you can't do any of these other ones. You have to go on millions of colors plus. At least that's the instructions in the Anime Studio Pro version 8. It says make sure you pick on that. And then I just always go high quality. Best quality, you could barely tell any difference at all. And it's almost like ProRes. It takes up all the memory. But this is a little more compressed, but it's high quality and it looks just as good. So just go with that. Medium, you start to notice a difference, and low, you absolutely notice a difference. Alright, so we're going to press OK, and there it goes, starting to render. And to show you what I was talking about, let me click on one of these here, and let's see. I wonder if I have that file set up. Let me look real quick. Alright, so one thing I'll do is bring in a background. I guess I could do that. This has got a 3500 pixel by 2000 pixel ratio. I'm going to need the files. So let's see. Pull this one up. And then let's see. I need the background animation. But before I do that, let me just go to the preset walk. And I'll show you what I mean. So let's say I have group 5. And then, of course, there's group 6. I'll show you real quick. That one's being rendered, so that's not going to show up yet. But, 12. Why isn't that showing up? That should be there. I think it's a memory issue because it's running out of memory. Oh, no, that might be the other format. I need to pull that in for the... in other words, it creates a unusable file, and then it creates a converted file, so you got to use the converted. This is not real-time movement here, but these are the groups, some of them, and then I could rearrange these as I want to vary it up. Of the zombies so far, probably close to 100 different unique zombies. Alright, so what I'll do, let's say I'll just pull this in and I'll show you the example. Alright, there's one, and I'll just pull in a second one just to show what it happens. So you could see it's under this special file, but now see how I'm like clear on the background there? And then I'm going to move this over here, and I'm just going to get like a quick background scene under my setup file, scenery, and then I have all the different scenery and stuff. This is the old files. So this is a good shot right here. I'll just throw that in there. Now usually I do individual if there are different layers in it, but because I want it flat, I just press composite. Alright, I'll just increase the scale, and then I'll move it probably right about there. It might look a little pixelated because I didn't set it up. This is just a quick example of what'll happen if I'm putting this scene together. So I'm going to zoom out, and then so now you have all these zombies. I get rid of this layer right here because that doesn't do much good there. Alright, so you could keep them all grouped together like that. You can move them here, whatever you want to do. Or you could move that one in front of that one if you want. But you see how flexible this is? And then I could have like all 12 of them all in one group. Then animate that and render it into a movie file. And then put that whole group here. And then multiply many groups, and you have hundreds and hundreds of zombies into the thousands. And then you could vary up the groups with your positioning and everything else, so they look like they're all in different configurations. Alright, so there's that. Now here's the trick. You double click on that, and it says image, so we're going to do loop indefinitely, and there it is, 15 frames per second. And we're going to click on this one. If you don't loop indefinitely, it'll just disappear. Everybody will disappear at the frame 30. So let's say you'd go, I don't know, maybe 200 frames, right? So what you do with these groups is you probably want to move them together as a single group. So you could start them here, for example. And what I usually do is I don't want them to start off slow and then pick up speed. I want them to be at a consistent speed. So I'm going to go linear, and then I have to go here and do the same thing for that. You can do this at the end, but I do it right now so I don't forget. And then let's say I just want to go ahead. See, now something's messed up with the program. It's a little glitchy at times when you have too much going on. So let's say I go to frame 200, right, to complete the animation. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on both of these with the shift button on the keyboard. I'm just going to move them, I'd say probably about there. So let's see if their legs move as quick as they're moving. I have to make sure I make this into a linear keyframe. Now this is a little glitchy here. There it is. Because of my pen tablet, it's not as accurate as my other one. So you can see I'm trying to click on this and do the one thing, but for some reason it's not cooperating. There it is. There, we got it now. So you can see this is moving here. Let's see how their legs are going. Are they picking up enough speed? And if not, then you just go a little farther. It looks like they're moving a little fast. A little slow for how fast their legs are moving. So what I'm going to do is click on both of them again now that I have them linear path with the keyframe. You could actually move them so they're separating a little bit. This way that gives a little variety there. But that's it. That's the general idea. And you can see that they're walking, and this is real choppy because the playback is so slow on any kind of move file. It won't play in real time until you render it out. And then you can see they're moving pretty good there. But that's the key. You're taking all those individual skeleton characters and you're merging them into one move file, and then you're looping them. And that's how you get those huge amounts of zombies without overloading the program. So this is just practice, so it doesn't really matter. But you'd go into, let's see. So I wouldn't want 3500. I'd want 1920. 1920 by 1080. That's going to be the dimensions most likely for my film. All right, and then I could just do a zoom. So by the final frame, let's click to that. I could zoom in and be like, oh, look, we're zooming in on these guys. And I'll render it out just to show what it looks like. I'll do a quick render just to get it going. I'll keep it very basic here. So you'd go under export, and I'm just going to click off aliased edge because that'll make it go quicker, and I don't need any of that on. I'll just keep that on and it'll render really fast. But I'll jump ahead. I won't show the whole process. So then I'm just going to go to your test move and throw it in here, and this will be a horde of zombies test walk. And then you just set your rendering to photo JPEG, and then you just press OK, and that's it. Now you're going to see them moving and rendering. And this is without any, this is not anti-aliased. In other words, you're going to get some jagged, weird effects sometimes if you don't smooth it out with the anti-aliasing. So I didn't click on that because this is all practice. So I'm not worried about it. But that's it. That's the general idea. And I'll render this out, and then you'll see it at the end of the video. Thanks a lot for the support for City of Rott, and of course City of Rott Otherworld, and City of Rott 2, and City of Rott Origin, which will be my fourth City of Rott film. It's 20 years since 2006 when it originally released on DVD through Unearthed Films. So that was a really awesome opportunity because it was in the Hollywood Video, and it was on the Blockbuster website, I think, and then it was in Best Buy and Movie Gallery, and I went into Hollywood Video, and I was like, looked at the shelf, and there it was on the shelf. That was like a dream come true. I'm not worried about, all the other stuff. That was always a dream, just to see one of my films in a retail store. That was unbelievable. I couldn't believe it. But that was a good opportunity back in 2006. In 2026, it's much different. The whole climate is different. It's a lot more competition, and the whole disc market of physical media has really shrunk down now that digital has taken over. So I do have some films on Tubi, about 6-7 films on there for now, because Tubi closed their doors to a lot of the independent animators and independent filmmakers, unfortunately, back in 2024 or 25, I think. Because my last film on there was Guest of Evil, and I tried to get Curse of Malnura on there about the blue pug dog investigating the evil Malnura character, but what happened was it only went on to Fossum and a couple others, but definitely a lot more challenging to get on some of the bigger channels, Tubi being pretty big channel at this time. So that's why I'd have to go through a label or a distributor to get it on that channel. I don't know if I'm going to go that route again, but I'll see what happens. I would like to have the movie on DVD, at least. I mean, Blu-ray, I put Curse of Malnura on Blu-ray, but I didn't have any advertising for it, so it's only been a small amount of sales for that one. But I put that on Blu-ray. That was 2025, I think. Something like that. And yeah, I have a link in my website, cityofrott.wordpress.com. But I'm excited about this new City of Rott Origin, telling the story. I have the script. I'm going to put all the different voices together really, really soon. And then I've been prepping all the zombies for the new film, and definitely going for a more action-packed style of the original, with that pacing of action, and then with the blood effects. I'm probably going to be going for more like the City of Rott 1 instead of City of Rott Otherworld, which is, it's just like, if I could go back and change it, those big blobs of blood, they needed better animation, because all I did was scale them out, and there was no real dynamic to it. So that was my main criticism of that blood effect, looking back now. I mean, it was gory, but not quite what I would do at this time. Plus, you couldn't see anything that was going on with the face. So, like in the original City of Rott, the speckled blood, the little droplets, it would push out, but you could see underneath what happened to the face the moment the walker hit the face. Oh wow, that rendered out in that time. So there it is. Oh, there you go. So let's see how everybody's moving. It looks pretty good. I should have zoomed the camera to the right a little better, but that's pretty good for a quick test animation. So there you go. So normally what you could do is just do a loop to enter full screen and then just press play and that bar will disappear. This is not real time because as you can see it's a little choppy here since I'm recording. But yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, that's what I'm going for. I don't want 3 frames of animation on the walk cycle for these zombies because as an animator that's just too limited. So that's why the motions are more fluid, but not 24 seconds per frame fluid like in City Rod Otherworld. This is only 15, so it's half the frame rate almost. But this looks pretty good in my opinion. This is definitely what I would have done for the original City of Rot if I had that option with Image Ready. But Image Ready, that's my very old computer, and unfortunately I don't have that in operation anymore. But that's it for now. Feel free to comment, like, subscribe, share, hit the bell all icon. Thanks for all the comments and views for City Rot and all the support, and really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Have a good week ahead.